Normally, Christmas in Lagos is not a season, it is a kind of madness. Once December touches the calendar, something enters people's heads like fever and steals their common sense. That was exactly what happened to Mr. Tamino. From the first day of December, he had only one sentence in his mouth. We must travel. His wife, Iburo, had heard it so many times that she was already tired of it. On the morning of December 23rd, Iburo stood in their small kitchen, stirring tea slowly while watching the sky through the window. The clouds were heavy and gray, like wet clothes that refused to dry. It had been raining for days. She tried again. Tamuno, this rain is not a joke. Let us travel tomorrow morning. Tamuno waved his hand like he was chasing a mosquito. Tomorrow is too late. Christmas is not waiting for anybody. People have already reached the village. Their first son, Toyin, was lying on the sofa in one singlet and shorts, scrolling his phone upside down. "Daddy, as long as there is rice, Christmas will wait," he said. Tamuno shot him a sharp look. "Shut up. You children don't understand. If you don't show face for Christmas, people will think you are suffering." Sime, their daughter, lifted her head immediately. "Daddy, are we suffering?" she asked with curiosity. "Nobody said we are suffering, but must we prove it by traveling?" Their youngest, Furu, was sitting on the floor arranging his toy cars in a straight line like a road. He pushed one car forward, then suddenly stopped it. "This one just broke down," he said. Everyone laughed. "See, imagination," Toyin said. "Mechanic in the making." Tamuno laughed the loudest. "This boy will not stop us today." Outside, the rain fell harder. Yet Lagos had turned into a noisy carnival. Horns were shouting, buses were fighting, and people dragged bags, rice, chickens, plastic bowls, generators, and children all at once. The road itself looked angry. Iburo packed quietly, folding clothes slowly, like someone who was not convinced. Each time she folded a shirt, she paused. "Tamuno, why are you rushing like this? Even the car was shaking yesterday." "The car is fine," Tamuno replied. "It's only coughing small." Toyin laughed. "Daddy, even human beings cough before sickness comes." Tamino snapped. "Are you the mechanic now?" Saimai rolled her eyes. "I just want data. As long as there is network, I'm fine." Iburo looked at her. "So your problem is network, not safety?" Saimai shrugged. "Safety doesn't trend, Mummy." By afternoon, the rain reduced, but the sky still looked suspicious. Their neighbor, Mr. Okubo, leaned on the fence chewing garden egg. "You people are traveling now?" "Yes," Tamuno said proudly, straight to Biosa. Mr. Okubo sucked his teeth. "Night journey during Christmas rush is not advisable," Tamino laughed. "Fear is your problem." Mr. Okubo shook his head. "Not fear, experience." Something pressed Iburo's chest. "Tamino, let us sleep and go early tomorrow," she pleaded. But Tamino ignored her and started the car. The engine hesitated, coughed, then came alive. "See," he said, "strong like me." As they drove out, Furu pressed his face to the window. "Daddy, why does this road look angry?" "Because you didn't eat," Toyin replied. Everyone laughed again. Traffic welcomed them immediately, moving small, stopping, moving again. Hawkers ran between cars selling everything from groundnuts to chargers. Saimei sighed. "This Christmas is already annoying." "Wait till mosquitoes welcome you," Toyin replied. Iburo prayed quietly, asking God to let them reach safely, while Tamino increased the volume of the music. "Relax, we will reach." By the time it got dark, the road became narrow and quiet, then suddenly loud again. The radio went off by itself. "Who touched it?" Tamino asked. Nobody answered. Came back on with loud static, making Simai jump. Iburo lowered the volume. Let it rest. Later, they missed their usual stop, but Tamino said it was fine and kept driving. The rain returned lightly, just enough to make the road shine like oil. Then they saw a man by the roadside holding a lantern. Tamino slowed down. "Should we ask?" The man raised his hand. "Where are you going?" He shook his head slowly. "Not this way tonight," he pointed behind them. "Turn back small." "Thank you," Tamino said, driving past. Iburo looked back. The man was still standing, watching them. "Why didn't you listen?" she asked. "Listen to what?" "A roadside prophet," Toyin laughed. "Daddy doesn't like advice." Soon, the GPS beeped and showed a shortcut. "This will save time," Tamuno said happily. Uburo wanted to protest but kept quiet. The road changed. Bushes grew closer, houses disappeared, and the air became cold. Furu held his mother's hand. "Mummy, this road is not smiling." "It's okay," she whispered, though her voice shook. The car jerked once, twice, then stopped. Silence filled the car. Rain began to fall properly, tapping the roof like impatient fingers. Tamino tried the key again. Nothing. "Sometimes car needs encouragement," he said, stepping out. The smell of wet earth rushed in, strong and raw. bushes stood close, tall and silent. Iburo held Furo tighter. "Lock your door," she told Toyin. Simi complained about her phone. "No network. Even emergency call is not working." Tamino moved around the car, muttering nonsense like a mechanic. Iburo begged him to wait till morning. "If we sleep here, mosquitoes will carry us to Akit," he joked. Suddenly, Furo whispered, "Mummy, somebody is coming." Shapes appeared from the darkness, carrying lanterns and umbrellas made from sacks. "Human beings at last," Toyin sighed. The first man smiled. Good evening, Tamuno replied quickly. Our car stopped. "Yes, it happens," the man said calmly. Another asked, "You are traveling tonight?" They exchanged looks. "You are close to Okiri Creek. Our village is not far." "Village?" Sime whispered. "Not all villages announce themselves," the man said. "Good," Tamuno said. "We can get help." "Not now," the man replied. "It is not safe at this time." "What time?" Tamuno asked. "When night has fully settled." "So what do you suggest?" "Come with us. Sleep in the village. By morning, the road will open." The rain grew heavier. Saimai clutched her jacket. "Daddy, I don't want to sleep in the bush." Iburo begged him to agree. Then an old woman appeared, holding a small lantern. "You should not stay here," she said. "Why?" Iburo asked. The woman looked at Furu. "Because night on this road does not like strangers." Thunder rolled in the distance. Tamino looked at his car, then at his family. Pride lost the fight. "Okay," he said quietly. "We will come." They locked the car and followed the men. As they walked, Iburo began to notice strange things. The road behind them no longer looked the same. It seemed shorter, darker, as if it was shrinking. "Is it my eyes?" she whispered to herself. Toyin tried to joke. "Daddy, if they kidnap us, I don't have money." The men laughed lightly. "We don't kidnap. Christmas is near." It was meant to sound comforting, but it wasn't. Suddenly, houses appeared as if they had grown from the ground. Yet the place was too quiet. "Where is Christmas noise?" They entered the village, and people watched them silently. No children ran about. No women shouted from one house to another, just eyes following them. Iburo felt her chest tighten. They were led into a small room. "You will sleep here," the man said. "Your car will be checked tomorrow." Iburo looked around. The room was clean, but it smelled of river water and smoke. That night, she lay awake, listening to the sound of water moving nearby. Suddenly, Furo sat up shaking. "Mommy," he whispered. "Someone is calling my name from the river." Iburo's heart froze. She held him close and listened, but the village outside remained silent. They slept eventually, but morning did not arrive the way it should. No rooster crowed. No church bell rang. No voices called children to fetch water. Toyin snored softly, hugging his bag. Saimi lay stiff, clutching her phone. Furu was awake, staring at the ceiling. "You didn't sleep?" Iburo asked. He shook his head. "They were walking again," he whispered. "Who?" "The water people." Before she could respond, slow footsteps passed outside, careful but deliberate. Tamuno suddenly sat up. "It's morning," he said. He stepped outside, acting confident. In daylight, the village looked normal. Wooden houses stood quietly. Smoke rose from kitchens. A woman swept slowly, unbothered by time. Toyin inhaled deeply. "Fresh air. Village life is good." Saime frowned. "Why is everyone staring at us?" Indeed, eyes followed them. "Good morning," Tamino greeted loudly. "Good morning," the villagers replied together, same tone, same timing. Iburo shivered. The car was still there, untouched. Tamuno laughed. "See? Nothing spoiled." He entered the car and turned the key. The engine started immediately. Toyin blinked. "Just like that. You people worry too much," Tamuno said proudly. "Cold engine yesterday." Simi clapped. "Let's go before another drama." As he prepared to reverse, a man stepped forward quickly. "No," Tamuno frowned. "What do you mean, no?" "You cannot go yet." Another man joined him. "Not yet." Toyin laughed weakly. "Is this village gate?" No one laughed back. Iburo asked why. The man replied calmly. "You should eat first." "We don't want to eat," Saimai snapped. "We just want to go." "Yes," the man said, "but first eat." Women appeared with steaming bowls of gari and fish stew. Toyin's stomach growled loudly. "Food first," he whispered. Iburo pinched his arm. Not now. Hunger, pride, and confusion fought inside Tamuno. Then the old woman appeared again. "You cannot live hungry," she said. "What happens if we don't eat?" The woman looked toward the river. "People who rush this place don't always finish their journey." Saimi laughed too loudly. "Mama, this is not Nollywood," nobody replied. Tamino finally agreed. "We will eat small and go." As they ate, Iburo noticed something strange. The food tasted fine, but her mouth felt dry after every swallow. Toyin ate eagerly, then slowed down. "Mommy, my head is doing me somehow." Saime rubbed her arms. "Why am I cold?" The sun was up, yet the air felt wrong. Suddenly, a loud splash came from the river. Everyone turned. Nothing was there. The villagers kept eating calmly. Iburo leaned toward Tamuno. "We should go now." They stood up, but Toyin staggered. Iburo caught him. "What is wrong?" "My body is weak," he whispered. The villagers moved closer. The old woman sighed. "You see, what is happening here?" Iburo snapped. The woman replied softly, "This place is not wicked, but it is not forgiving." Tamino's voice shook. "What does that mean?" The woman turned away without answering. Toyin sat heavily. Simi's annoyance slowly turned into fear. "My phone," she whispered. "Where is my phone?" It was gone. Iburo felt her knees weaken. Nothing had attacked them, yet everything was falling apart quietly while the river kept moving. When the old woman returned, she said, "Do not fight the morning. Wait for it to finish." Iburo understood then. The village was not holding them by force. It was holding them by time, and time was not on their side. By mid-morning, the village no longer felt friendly. Toyin sat sweating despite the cold air. "Mommy, I feel like I ran a race in my sleep." His hand shook as he tried to drink water. Tamino stood apart, pacing like a man who had lost his voice. He tried the car again. The engine started. Relief flashed across his face. "See, we can go." But when he reversed, the car refused to move. He stepped out and checked the tires. Thick, wet mud held them tightly, like hands refusing to let go. "How did this happen?" he muttered. Iburo's voice trembled. "Tamuno, something is wrong." The man from the night before approached calmly. "You should not try to leave yet." "Why?" Tamuno snapped. The man looked at Toyin, then Furu, then Tamuno. "Because today is not finished." Iburo stepped forward and asked respectfully, "Please, what is happening in this village?" The man sighed and rubbed his face. "You people are not the first." Those words landed heavily. "First?" Simi asked sharply. "First travelers who rushed," the man replied. Anger rose inside Iburo. "Rushed to where?" "We were only traveling for Christmas," the man nodded slowly. "That is when most people rush." The old woman appeared again, as if suspense had called her. She looked older now, more tired. "You passed when you should not," she said slowly. "When?" Tamino demanded. Instead of answering, she pointed toward the river. Iburo followed her gaze and noticed something she had not seen before. The river was rising, slowly but steadily. "What happens when the river rises?" Iburo asked. The old woman hesitated. "It eats the road," Tamino laughed nervously. "Water eats road?" "Yes," the woman said simply. "Soft road," Simi scoffed. "Then why didn't you block the road?" The old woman turned to her. "People don't like blocked roads during Christmas." Iburo's heart skipped. She looked around again and noticed something else. There were no cars in the village, not even one, only boats. "Where are the other travelers?" she asked. The man replied, "They go back when they listen." Iburo swallowed hard. "And when they don't?" No one answered. Suddenly, a shout came from the far end of the village and people began to gather. "What is happening?" Iburo asked. The man shook his head. Someone tried to leave early. Tamuno's stomach dropped. They hurried toward the sound and saw a young man shouting near the riverbank. His clothes were muddy, his bag open on the ground. "I know this road!" he shouted. "I passed here yesterday." The old woman raised her voice. "Yesterday is not today." Without warning, the man turned and ran toward the narrow path out of the village. "Stop him!" Iburo cried, but nobody moved. Suddenly, the man slipped and the mud swallowed his foot up to the ankle. He screamed, struggling wildly, until two villagers rushed forward and dragged him back. The crowd exhaled together. Iburo's legs felt weak. "That path," she whispered. The man nodded. "Yes, it disappears when the water rises." Simi hugged herself tightly. "So we are stuck." "Yes," the man replied. Toyin groaned and bent over. Knelt beside him. "What is wrong? I feel like vomiting." Fear finally broke through her calmness. She turned to the old woman. "Please, my son is sick." The old woman's voice softened. "That is why we tell people to wait." "Wait for what?" Iburo cried. "For the water to turn back," the woman replied. Tamuno ran his hand through his hair. "How long?" The old woman looked at the sky. "By evening," tears burned Iburo's eyes. "You could have explained this." The woman shook her head. "People who rush don't listen to explanations." That sentence cut deeper than any insult. Simi whispered, "So nothing is chasing us?" "No," the man replied. "So nothing is holding us here?" Iburo asked. The old woman met her eyes. "Only time." Iburo looked at her family and sighed deeply. They were trapped, and they had to wait whether they liked it or not. Waiting, she realized, was harder than fear. Tamino sat on a low stool staring at the ground. The man who once fought Lagos traffic now had nothing to say. His hands were clasped tightly. His pride folded into silence. Sami sat close to her mother, still shaking. Mommy, when we leave, I will not complain again. Iburo pulled her closer. You better not. Furu had been quiet for a long time, standing near the river, staring at the moving water. Furo, come back, Iburo called sharply. He obeyed, his face serious. The water is going down, the old woman nodded. Yes, it is turning. People began to move. Boats were pulled aside. Men tested the muddy ground with long sticks. Tamino stood up again. So, can we go now? Soon, the man replied. Not so fast. For once, Tamino did not argue. When they returned to the car later, the mud that had trapped the tires was loosening. Toyin tried to stand, but his legs wobbled. Iburo held him. You will be fine, just hang on. The engine started again, sounding tired, like it had aged overnight. As they prepared to leave, the old woman approached Iburo and handed Saimai's phone to her. Things that disappear here usually return, she said. Iburo accepted it with both hands. Thank you, the old woman nodded. You people will remember this road. Yes, Iburo replied. They drove slowly along the same path that had almost swallowed another man. The river was calmer now, deeper and heavier, like something that had finished its work. As they reached the main road, the old woman raised her hand. Next time, listen when delay comes. Tamino stopped the car and stepped down. I am sorry, he said. The old woman smiled. Christmas will always come. People don't need to chase it. They returned to Lagos. They did not go to Bayosa that Christmas. By the time they arrived, the celebration had passed. Rice had been eaten. Pictures had been posted. The noise had settled. Toyin was taken to the hospital and recovered slowly. The doctor said it was exhaustion and shock, nothing mysterious. But the car never fully recovered. It developed problems that swallowed money. Most importantly, Tamino changed. He became the man who told people to wait. A man who now said easily, let us leave it for tomorrow.